Welcome to the Startup Grind.
You wrote The Struggle. I bet you're tired of every time seeing people and then bringing up the struggle.
I love it.
Yeah.
It feeds my ego. I feel so good about myself. It's self-esteem building.
So I have a belief that we all went through the struggle. You and I did it well before we lived in public. And of course we live in public to some extent, and of course you were a public company, so you really lived in public.
Oh, I was public, baby.
Yeah. So maybe you were more public than I was, but a lot of people were able to fail gracefully. In today's world of Twitter and blogs and public information, I feel like the stresses are even greater, and it led to, well, there were a number of high-profile suicides a year ago. We can't really draw the conclusions of where those came from. I'm wondering how you encourage founders to get support. Where can they turn to? It's difficult to turn to board and investors because you don't want to create a perception that you're going through this. It's hard to turn to employees. What outlets do you think are available to people?
Well, so I would say I think it's always been, I mean, for me, like I can really identify with this because when I was going public, Business Week wrote a story, cover story called The IPO from Hell. And that's about my company, by the way.
Yeah.
I am the IPO from hell.
Is that hanging in your office?
And I'm back from hell now.
Yeah, okay.
And that was like one of many. I mean, they, you know, Loud Cloud, no longer on Cloud 9. That was what the company was before I pivoted it. You know, the Red Herring wrote that I was taking my cash and setting it on fire in my parking lot. That was another article that was written about me. So, you know, these things hurt my feelings.
What was the best thing you spent money on? You don't have to answer.
You know, it's lonely. It is. But I think most of the stress to me doesn't come from, you know, so much what people in the press think and write and say, and people on Twitter. It's more how the people in the company start to feel about it, you know, and it brings you know, like you've brought all these people in, they believed in you. Things aren't going as sold, and you know, like you feel that, and it's going badly, and then like it's amplified if they read that you suck in the press, as they did about me many times. It's like, Ben is an idiot. It's like, oh God, you know. And it wasn't that I didn't care that they said I was an idiot. What bothered me was people who worked for me would go home and their spouse would go, you know, your CEO is an idiot. Like I just read it here in Business Week. Very accurate reporting. And so like that's hard. I don't know that, you know, like I never as an entrepreneur had a great outlet for that. I have to say, you know, like probably one of my best ones is I'm friends with Bill Campbell, who had like as bad experiences when he was running a company called Go. And I used to talk to him about it. And, you know, like I knew like he had been through some bad stuff, but like, and we'd talk about it and he would understand, but it didn't help that much. It's still a struggle. It's still difficult. And, you know, you just have to focus your mind on like what you can do, not what you can't do. And you can't focus on like what's going on wrong and what that might imply. And, you know, Peter Thiel has a great thing in his startup kind of class that he taught, which is he says, look, there's people who believe in statistics. And they believe that like there's, you know, probabilities of things happen and all you can do is run a process and like it is what it is and the statistics come out. And then there's people who believe in calculus and they believe there's a right answer. And if you're a startup CEO, you have to believe in calculus. You have to believe you can find the answer and that's all you can focus on. And there's an answer out there somewhere. And trust me, like there's always an answer. And hopefully, you know, God willing, you have enough time to get to the answer. But that's really all there is. I don't think there's not that much comfort out there. Like I talk to entrepreneurs all the time. I try and tell them, let me tell you how bad it was for me. It sucked. And they're like, that was then, motherfucker. This is now. This is my company. I don't care about you. And so, sorry for the profanity. I can't help myself. I used to be CEO of a startup.